choose. Like, honestly, I say this lightly, but genuinely, I don't know if you could have picked the wrong person. Like, with all of the main options we had, they were really good options. Like, now, we have really good depth, regardless of other people's opinions.
Do you think, so do you want to go into the opinions?
I mean, we can.
I actually, look, I'm going to give her some grace. I don't know what she meant. I don't know what she meant, but I have thoughts about what she might have meant.
You're talking about Skinner?
Skinner, yeah. I don't know what she meant.
So when I was watching the video on Twitter, and I was trying to not take things out of context, and I was watching the video, so there was a splice of one video. It was like, she was talking about work ethic, and the way that it looked, it was like she was talking about the girls that were on the Olympic team, and then she said, like, no, I was talking about my club teammates. And I'm like, well, why would you still say that? Like, there's, to me, logically, I'm like, because she was talking about, before, during the MARTA era, the work ethic was this and that. I'm like, okay, again, based off of fear. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, there was the fear driver of things. And so I'm like, work ethic is going to be there whether MARTA was there or not. Like, that's not a logical argument to me, because there's just as many gymnasts that don't have work ethic as there are gymnasts that do. And it has nothing to do with MARTA. We were just different with MARTA because we were scared. We were fearful of that system. That's the difference. So for me, I'm like, the work ethic comment was just so unnecessary, and it just didn't apply.
I think
ultimately it definitely doesn't apply to the Olympic team.
I think ultimately that's it's the working hard part that really rubbed people the wrong way. Well, if I had to make a guess.
And it was also her comment when she was like, with MARTA, we were clean and crisp, and people are dragging her to filth because she, and I don't want to be a part of like people being, I don't want to be mean to her. I'm not trying to like bully her.
Yeah, this is not
let's just be black and white. She was sloppy. She's sloppy elite. So people are bringing
Skinner,
up,
you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they
I thought you meant like Marta's girls.
No. Well, I mean, technically Skinner was one of Marta's
them,
girls.
yeah.
So that clean and crisp comment that you made, I don't know who you're talking about, because you're not talking about yourself, because people are bringing up tons and videos of just
the receipts.
No, there are plenty of receipts. God. You should go and investigate. I've been
looking at it. I've been looking at it.
And it's true. And it's like, she was just a very sloppy elite, and it just is what it is. She was a sloppy NCAA gymnast, and she would be upset on, why haven't I gotten a 10? I'm like, because you don't point your toes. Like, I don't know. Maybe point your toes. I don't know. So there was that argument, and that a lot of people they're like, what are you talking about clean and crisp? You weren't clean and crisp. Don't talk about the Olympic team, they're a pretty clean and crisp team right now. All the ones we got going, and the alternates with Leanne and Jocelyn and all them, they're very clean and crisp. So there was a lot of things that she said that rubbed people the wrong way, and rightfully so. Plus, this is one of like 4 things Skinner has done over the last 9 years to piss people off regarding the Olympic team. Like, okay, this is not, you need to go down the rabbit hole of Skinner.
In regards to her comment specifically, I think for me, this is just my perspective on it, right? I think it was the working hard part that was rough. That was like, ugh.
That's what I'm saying. It was an unnecessary comment.
Yeah.
Like, why are we saying that?
It felt a little rough, because I agree, they're working hard. To say that you're not, if you're at trials, you're working hard,
even
right?
Your club teammates,
right? So in terms of work ethic, it's kind of crazy. But if you wanted to if you wanted to get a little bit more technical, if she had said something I don't want to put words in her mouth, but just an example. These aren't my thoughts either.
Yeah.
But as an example, if she would have said like, as a country, our vault baseline is lower than it used to be. That's like a more objective thing than just like personally saying like these people aren't working hard. Right?
Sure.
Then maybe we can dissect that a little bit differently, right? And I don't want to throw her gymnastics under the bus, because I also don't think that even if she 100% was like really sloppy or wasn't the X, Y, and Z, that still doesn't absolve her from having the
experience.
Well, not even that, just a critique.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I agree with that. I don't think you have to have been something or done something to have an opinion or an informed opinion. However,
it's the delivery that was a little bit problem.
It's the delivery. It's the calluses. People are calloused by her already. This is a lot of things people are saying on Twitter. Like, if this was her first incident and she apologized, we would let it go. Like, because people say things they don't mean or it comes out wrong.
Sure.
Like it could be like people take that with my parent comment and like, it's not the parents. I love you. That's not what I meant. You know, I want it to be clear. And that happens. But for her, it was like, okay, it was the 2016 incident. It was the comments she made about Marta and the abuse. It's now the Olympic team comments she's making now. So people are like, are you done? Like, they're just kind of like,
they're kind of fed up.
Stop.
They're kind of fed up.
And I was around her-ish. I was actually around one of her teammates more during my elite time. But I had an experience with her at NCAAs that I was like, oh, I know your character for sure. And it's very, and again, I don't want it to be judgmental, but based off my personal experience and the way I've stepped back and watched her in person at nationals, and then I see her on social media and all of these things, I'm like, she genuinely thinks I think she thinks she's better than a lot of people. And that's where this mindset comes from. Or she thinks like it's okay to
She definitely comes off as very
things.
alpha.
Very, and it's, I mean, I guess alpha, but just very like self-absorbed.
Okay.
Like, it's like, take a step back and critique one of your videos before you critique one of the Olympians.
Sure.
Like, dissect your vault before you dissect her vault. Like, it's just those type of things. And it's not trying to be mean or not put her under the bus or anything, but it's just like the self-awareness is not there.
I tried an exercise mentally to say like, okay, if I had to create a critique for gymnastics, not the Olympic team, but gymnastics as a whole, where we stand as a country.
Yeah.
If I had to make a critique, what would they be? I would look at the fact that in 2012 there was 3 or 4 MNRs happening on vault.
Yeah, and didn't they devalue the MNR?
Yeah, so then so there's just some things there that I'm just like, okay. But the critique wouldn't be on the gymnast. The critique might be on the country, the coaching staff. I don't know what it would be, but it would just be like, hey, look, objectively speaking, as a country, we looked like this, and now we kind of look like this on this event specifically. Because I went in, I'm like, I wonder what she means. So I went in, I grabbed I like wrote down all the skills that every gymnast had on every event, and I'm just like, if you're talking about difficulty, I'm not seeing it, because these kids are these women at this point, because it's not kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're performing skills that nobody was performing before in the country, right? You know, not even absent Simone, right? Obviously Simone is pushing boundaries, but like, even absent Simone, like, you're doing pack fulls, you're doing
Suni alone does like 7 skills connected on bars, and she does like 2 kips in her whole bar team.
There's still
Jocelyn's difficulty,
on
Jade's
floor,
difficulty,
the double layout for sure.
difficulty, like their difficulty on beam. It's just like, yes, maybe our vault hasn't been the strongest that it is now, but I think numbers wise, it's like the start value and the execution, it's just about that math part. It's still pretty strong. Yeah. But then look how much stronger we are on all the other events than we were in the past. And it's just so hard to compare the 2012 team to this team, because we're, 12 years removed by this point. Gymnastics has changed a lot since then. The skills are getting harder. We're getting older. The women are getting older, which is great to prove we can still do this. So it's just so different too. And people they're doing that on my TikTok too, because I made a response of Mykayla's video, and obviously people are commenting and they're saying that stuff like, well, the 2012 team is the strongest team we've ever had, blah blah, and people are like, no, the 2016 team. I'm like, I just feel like they're so different to compare, because where we may have been really strong, I mean, we were the United States of Amanar in 2012.
Yeah.
We're not that anymore, but we also have to remember the Amanar got devalued, so that's probably why we're not doing Amanars anymore.
Well, and we romanticize it. I mean, we romanticize moments as a country. I mean, we do that in sports in general.
Best moment. One of the best moments ever.
Yeah. So
Mykayla stuck her balls like,
yeah. I mean, that in sports in general, this isn't gymnastics specific. Yeah. Like, we romanticize Ali with Frazier. Yeah. We romanticize. Yeah, I mean, like, there's just so many things
there's
in
key sports and key people.
Right,
that,
where like, we romanticize it. So like, when we're really geeked out about gymnastics and real nerds about it, like, you think about 2012 and you think about that moment,
one vault, and it was the gold, and it hadn't happened, since one.
Yes.
So it's been a minute.
So I think that there's a romanticization there. I think objectively, when it comes to the numbers, I wouldn't mind comparing them. I just, when I saw her comment and I looked at the skills, I'm like, okay, so I'm not seeing it on the difficulty side.